Well, these current events that are unfolding here are very important to pay attention to. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but DB Bank, just here in the past month, was busted rigging the gold and silver markets. That's huge. It shows you the precious metals was rigged, and every other market is too. Also, Chase Bank saying that they were going to go bankrupt, and what this implied when this big bank got busted. They said they were willing to work with authorities into exposing other banks that were involved here. That should be a clear signal to all of you that they're about to take the money and run with their gold assets. They've been stuffing money into offshore accounts for the longest time, and now surging into the metals, which is rigged. So everyone's been talking for years about the potential collapse. The truth is, it happened when they so choose it to happen. Not just one day when the debt is through the roof and this and that. It will be by design. And what you have to look for here, and this is the most important part of all this, is DB Bank just got busted. They're going to get dragged into court, and they're going to start snitching on other big players and banks that were involved. Do you see? And you wonder why Chase is going bankrupt all of a sudden? This is about to happen more and more, and here in the past 24 hours, the ATMs of Chase quit giving out cash in all of Manhattan, as well as Southern California. There was other banks involved in this too, and here within the past few days, this operation launched by an alleged anonymous group has been targeting the major banks across the globe. And they're saying that in this operation, they're going to attack the central banks because of the chaos that they have caused around the globe. Well, I'm here to tell you this. Unless these same people that are trying to take down all these banks have another system ready to roll, when this whole thing collapses, it's going to fall right into the hands of the elite because they've got another system ready to go when they all come crashing down. They just need some help making it happen. So all of a sudden, we have this group attacking banks. We have banks having problems with distributing money at their ATMs. This is right on the heels of Deutsche Bank admitting to a huge scam in the markets. I'm telling you, they're sticking their assets in offshore accounts, and they are about to bail. And before any of them get dragged into court, you're talking the biggest banks in the world, the most richest players in the world, the money masters. Before they ever see a courtroom, they will fold this whole thing. So how will it happen? Well, all of a sudden we have this alleged anonymous group connected to the Belgium group. If you guys remember back last time that we connected back to one of the Belgium groups, a lot of different sects of anonymous came out and were saying that no, something wasn't right with it. Well, I'm here to tell you this. Their next target is the New York Stock Exchange. The same groups that have just done this to the other places causing chaos states that they're going to focus their future cyber attacks on NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange, and PayPal. So, when this happens, what do you think is going to go down? If they are able to achieve this, they will bring the whole thing to a standstill. Some people say, okay, this is needed. My point is this. If you have a better system to replace the corruption that's in place right now. Because I'm telling you, there's a new world order system they've just been dying to implement. And when they all come crashing down, they're going to let chaos go for months. And then they'll come in, country by country, implementing the new world order. And what this will do will play right into the hands of the beast. I don't hear any of these guys talking about a new plan, a new way. Matter of fact, They said that they're trying to bring an end to the chaos that they're creating globally, which is partially true because the banks are. But what do you think is going to happen when the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ freeze? It's going to be chaos. Where? Here in the streets. Why? By this move. Blamed on who? Anonymous is what they're trying to say. And you see with Anonymous, the beautiful thing of Anonymous is everyone can remain anonymous. The bad part about Anonymous is anyone can infiltrate it. Then you have to start looking at the tools, the skills, and the tactics, and where these individuals are coming from that are doing this. There's righteous players out there all over the place, and then there is deception. And when there's something of this magnitude that comes along, it could be the one thing that brings down our economy and our system. I hope you people are paying attention. Then, if it does happen, anyone running the streets with a mask, you will be labeled a domestic terrorist. They will outlaw everywhere being able to wear a mask, if not even a hood, out in all these places. You're going to see the chaos ensue at these places like the conventions if they time this out right. Once again, everything is in motion. They like to run beta tests all the time. And with these little instances with the ATMs not wanting to spit out the cash here and there, and the two most populous places on each coast just so happen to be, and then more issues, and then a long list of other places that they plan to attack here. They've already hit the banks of Tonga, the Bank of Boston, or the Federal Reserve Bank in Boston, central banks of Sweden, Myanmar, Laos, just to name a few. And they're saying that this is total war on all these banks. Once again, anyone out here that hears that thinks that that sounds really good. It's right. The central banks, the Rothschild control, everything that's gone down here. Everything needs to be exposed. But I'm here to warn you. If you don't have something planned and in place for a collapse, somebody's going to have something been thought up for a long time, and they're going to be ready to implement it. I hope you see what I'm saying here. This thing's about to be provoked, and anyone can hop behind the mask, and what, they're going to blame them for bringing down the whole damn thing? Then who's the enemy? You ain't got to blame it on no one else. They're not going to blame it on no other country. They're not going to blame it on someone hiding in a cave or ISIS. None of that. It's going to be labeled domestic terrorist. You hear me? It may not happen this week. It may not happen tomorrow. It's going to go down. And if these guys are threatening this and they're achieving this kind of success, if anything does happen and it goes down this route, you better know who was behind it the whole time pulling the strings. I can't stress enough in these days and times to have a plan. We talk about it all the time, but I'm serious. And we're going to be going into detail about what you can do to survive this chaos. It's time to make moves and to be smart about what you're doing and not give too much away out here, showing your cards, so to speak. But all in all, we need to get people prepared because you got to understand, your power is in your numbers. We've said this a lot, but I'm serious. Your power is in your numbers. The power is in the people and politics that we address. If they get you divided and separated, that's when they can easily pick you off one by one. When you stand together by the hundreds and by the thousands, that is where you are most effective. You see? And it's the last thing that any tyrannical regime ever wants to see. Now, if they're righteous, you wouldn't have a problem. Of course, if all these people were righteous, we wouldn't be in this situation to begin with. It comes down to the hearts of men and women. So I'll leave you on this note. Beware of those that try to make people think that there's something they're not. And be aware of what's at hand. I'll leave plenty of links. Continue to update with more information. realtalklive.com. Dabu77 this Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Look to have a special guest join me that has a lot of experience and background on this rigged game and the market and the economy and everything. And he's got the track record to prove it. And want to let him drop some knowledge on folks out there that may be lacking in that field or maybe wanting to gain a little bit more info on what's going on here with the whole economy, markets, how it works, the whole nine, before something big does happen. But key things to keep an eye on are these other little attacks that are popping off at different banks. And some of them could be simple DDoS attacks. Others could be way bigger. But one thing's for sure, they have targeted NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange. Don't you forget it. They targeted it. The mainstream media is pushing it out there. That's what you should be paying attention to the most, is why they're doing it. Because it looks like to me they're setting the stage to blame someone when it all goes down. Then it'd be every real anonymous cat out there behind a mask that's a real cat catching the blame and that becomes the target. You better know your enemy. And this is why we say Illuminati, to kill this evil energy out here.